queens now. So after turning 9,500 into 29, winning $20,000 in one hand, basically tripling up, he now picks up queens. Luda Chris is going to call this. No, he's going to 4-bet. Attacking Jeremy's stack. Let's see what Jeremy does here. He's not going to fold, right? That's for sure. Pot's 3,200. It's 1,400 to call.
Oh, we forgot to give Sammy the shout out. What's up, Unbelievable?
I would imagine that Luda Chris is really polarized with his 4-bets. I mean, most players are. I don't know if there's a ton of value in 5-betting this. Well, there's the call. Jack 7-5. Got to imagine Jeremy's in. We'll see how it plays out. Maybe check call mode. You're losing to aces. You're losing to kings.
Call.
There's a call. Turns the king of diamonds, so ace-king, one of the hands you're certainly worried about. Just got there. Does Luda Chris want to fire that? He has no equity whatsoever. He's got nothing. He's drawing dead. Question really is, do I want to try to rep ace-king? You can see Jeremy's face. He does not want to bet right here. Please check it. Please check it. Please check it. And he does check.
Two very different hand qualities we have here with the queens against the old 6 deuce of hearts. Let's rewind a bit to pre-flop where we have, Johnny opening 9-4 off on the button. Seems like this game might be a little juicy.
Lock the damn doors,
Yeah.
right? That's what they say.
Everything Jeremy has done so far makes tons of sense to me, so we don't really need to talk about it that much. Luda Chris 4-betting to 2,200 with the 6 deuce of hearts. That is worth discussing. And I can see why he would do it situationally. It looks like Johnny probably has an infinite button range, right?
Yep.
It's possible that Jeremy would pounce on that. That means it's a spot to get a 4-bet through pretty frequently. But if you don't trim some of your combos, you're just going to leak money over time by doing it too frequently. And it feels like 6 deuce of hearts is one of those combos that should be trimmed, right?
It sure does. We want to either have a blocker, like an ace or a king in our hand, or a hand that plays well when called. Like, you can play a suited 6, but how about 6-7 of hearts?
Right.
How about 6-5 of hearts? Those hands play much, much better than 6 deuce of hearts. You're just making your life harder than you have to. It's okay to see this spot and not take it when you don't have the right hand for it. There's going to be lots of times you are going to have the right hand.
Right, and it's not a tournament, it's a cash game. There's infinite possibility rather than a finite possibility. So it's an endless game. Wait for your spot. Another issue is the sizing. 2,200 over 800 when there's already a bunch of dead money in there.
Yeah.
It feels like you're not really folding out any of Jeremy's range, which should be a big goal of yours when you have 6 deuce of hearts in your 4-betting, right?
I completely agree with you. It's weird, actually, almost how cheap it is for Jeremy to continue here. It's 1,400 to win like 3,250 or something like that against Luda Chris, who, by the way, is named Luda Chris.
On purpose.
Yeah, like he's very bluffy. There's lots of YouTube videos about how bluffy he is. Put out by Hustler Casino Live and Live at the Bike and so on. Jeremy knows all this, so I just don't understand why you wouldn't size it up as well, unless you've got this is a big intricate plan to you keep it small here and you're going to bet the flop, you're going to triple barrel a lot and all that kind of stuff. But of course we should size it up.
We shouldn't choose this combo and we should bet bigger.
Yep.
But here we are. We get to the flop. Quick stuff on the flop because it's not that interesting, right? Jeremy makes plenty of sense. Check call. What else are you going to do? You're going to let Luda Chris be Luda Chris and hope that he barrels some more if the board runs out clean.
Yeah.
Luda betting I like. He could have gone a little bigger to
Yep.
fold out a little more of the range, maybe the ace queens in Jeremy's range, stuff like that, which might continue for this sizing.
Yeah, ace 10 suited that with backdoor stuff like ace 10 of hearts, stuff like that might
But
fold
this
for
is
2100.
nitpicking compared to the
is.
rest of the hand.
It is nitpicking.
So it's fine.
Right.
Here we are in the turn, and this is not a nitpick. This is more serious,
Yeah.
right? Because once again, it makes sense what Jeremy does to check. How does Luda Chris not bet on this king? This feels like, now that we've put ourselves in this spot, this is a golden opportunity.
Auga, auga. That's the siren going off of what is happening. all chaos is crumbling around us. This king is such a great card for Luda to bet on here. When Jeremy check calls, while he's calling with a lot of things because we bet so small on the flop, not that many of them have a king in them.
And they all are going to not like that card. Queens doesn't like that card. Queens might call, but Jeremy has 8s, 9s, 10s. Club draws are there some of the time. You know, he has
Jacks.
some jacks. Yeah.
For sure.
None of these like this card. And you could do a pretty chunky bet here, 5K, 5,500, and you're repping a king or aces or a set or anything. You have so many value hands at this point based on how you've played the hand. I don't see why we don't take this shot when we have 6 high.
I can understand deciding I'm giving up on a lot of turns.
Yes.
But any heart, any card that turns us open-ended, and any overcard like an ace, king, or queen, quite frankly, although queen is not going to work out for us, should be a continue.
It
I
really
think.
feels like it.
Otherwise, why are we 4-betting 6 deuce in the first place? Like, if we're not going to have an aggressive plan when the board is sort of coming, the board is conspiring to make this easier for us with this king. This is a beautiful card for us.
Yeah.
We should really be taking advantage of
And
it.
now we're not going to be able to tell a good story on the river either.
Exactly.
It's basically we're saying we give up for the entire hand at this point because you would really expect that if we had a hand like ace king, we would keep betting.
Of course.
Or aces or anything that's better than a queen.
Right. If we want to, if we check here, we're just giving up on the hand entirely. If we bet here, we have the option, which I think we're mostly going to take, depending on what the river is, but to barrel again and barrel really big if this doesn't work.
What does work is the link in our pinned tweet that takes you to Nitrogen Sports, where there's the monthly Poker Guys tournament. Make sure you use the link or you don't even see the tournament. Once you're there, you get to play the great tournament. You get to play casino games. You get to sports bet. Lots of good promotions for you. It's wonderful, Jonathan.
It's shockingly wonderful. You will glisten with happiness.
Do it
when you
on
do
Nitrogen
this.
when you listen.
And is Luda Chris just done with it? Jeremy's still trying to get the showdown. I might have bet there.
Yeah, I guess you gotta adapt, right? Can't beat him, join him.
And Luda Chris bets 15,000.
Oh, would you try to bluff me after you just won a big
I mean,
pot?
Luda Chris might play aces this way.
God, that feels so bluffy. What are you saying you have? Bet, check, blast.
I mean, if you know Jeremy's got a one-pair hand, which is very likely right now, the way this hand played out, you could bet for value with aces. You could have checked back ace-king and then bet this way on the river as well. Try to make disguise the strength of your hand.
I don't think you're going to bet that much with ace-king. Guess you could have, like, jacks that you slow played.
Pocket kings.
6-8. I have queens. I really wanted to repop you pre-flop. Should have done it.
Pot was 7,200. Luda Chris goes 2x pot on the river.
Wrong, it just cost me so much here. I really think you're bluffing. Like, what do you have?
Good read. It's a good read by Jeremy here. Can he make the call?
No, I have a queen. The bet's 15,000.
I tried to hold it and I'm like, you know what?
15, right? Sorry guys, I have like a real decision here.
Jeremy thinking this through. Something you didn't see 5, 7 years ago in No Limit Hold'em. You just didn't see players going 2x pot. It's the way the game has evolved. And I am all for it.
I just don't get it. Your line makes no sense, Chris. You bet the flop. You bet free. You bet the flop. You check the turn. Blast river. It's hard for you to have a queen 10. It's hard for you to have. Yes, you could have queen 10 of clubs. Ace king, you're not betting that much, I don't think. God damn, dude. Ugh, there's only 5, 6K in the pot. Ugh. This is why you're good, Chris. You put people in these decisions. That's why you're good. Ugh. Sorry, guys. I'm not I have a real decision. Ugh.
Jeremy just got these chips, too.
I just got all these chips, Chris. It's hard to give them to you right now.
I could be wrong, but I think Luda Chris does this with aces. I think he does it with ace king. I think he does it with a set. And I think he does it with the bluffs.
God, I just don't want to see him turn over like the 6-8 of fucking spades or something like that. God.
You know, he's got 6 deuce, so 6-8 is certainly possible.
Sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. I'm really thinking about this one.
I'm saving money all the time.
I know. God, I just keep changing. I just keep changing my mind. Sorry. If you guys care, like you can say something. I just keep changing my mind.
Now you know what a woman feels like.
I know. I just keep changing it. Yeah, I just am in the torture chamber. I have queens. Sorry. This is a super long tank. If Chris shows me like the 6-8 of spades, I'm gonna throw up.
There's the call.
Let's go.
Well, that was a big bet.
Yes.
That was a pretty big bet. And I think we need to talk about the sizing of the bet. We need to talk about a lot of things. But let's start with the sizing of the bet, because we took a lot of time in the previous streets talking about how we didn't like what Luda Chris was doing.
Correct.
And I think if Luda Chris is going to bet the river, it is mandatory that he does kind of an outlandishly large bet at this point. Because as we were saying on the turn, once you give up on the turn, you're kind of giving up on your story making any sense.
Correct.
So if you want to tell a story at this point, you're kind of telling only one story, which is I have a set of 9s, which is not really a good thing to be doing, just repping one hand because you check the turn. But betting 15K gives you a chance to actually fold out some hands, right?
It does. Now, I think we might have a few other hands in theory that we could have here. King 9 suited, Jack 9 suited. There's not many combos of those. But those at least, the 9 could interact in that way and like hit us hard enough that we could go for a big bet here, trying to get called by one.
Yeah, and so the straights that came in, it feels like Ludo should always be betting the turn with, but maybe he wasn't. Maybe we can rep that a little bit too.
Maybe. I mean, feels like you're asking a lot. I mean, I don't think we should take this shot. But if we're going to, as you said, if we're going to do it, the big swing is the swing to take.
It's
you can't
way
bet
better.
6,000.
It's way better.
It's way better to bet huge.
He has no chance of getting it through against almost all of Jeremy's range if he bets 4K, 5K, 6K. Almost no chance at all.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
This at least gives him a chance.
Yep. But the story is so bad.
Yeah, so it doesn't work.
No.
Should it have worked? Did Jeremy do the right thing by calling here?
I think he did. I mean, Jeremy could have even bet the river himself after it goes check, check on the king, trying to get value out of a jack.
I mean, that's a little ambitious. It's ludicrous. Let him bet.
Well, that's what I agree. I agree. I mean, I think that's part of the point. That's what I'm going for here is that he chose to check this hand that he could have gone for thin value with because there's going to be so much more money to be made by Luda Chris bluffing rather than Luda Chris heroing with, worse hands.
Yeah.
Right? So if we look at the distribution, every hand that's better than queens here is a hand that we're usually going to bet the river with.
Right.
ourself.
If we had ace king and didn't 5-bet pre-flop and check called the flop because it was a small bet, we're probably going to bet that. Same thing's true of if we had like pocket aces and didn't 5-bet that pre-flop or a set.
Any of the sets, including pocket nines, which we very well could have too.
Both players could very well have a set of nines.
But when we check, we don't have a set of nines very often. We don't have a straight very often. We don't have super strong hands. This is the strongest of our non-super strong hands that checks. At least, of course, we're probably going to have a little bit of super strong hands that are interchecking.
Yeah, a little bit.
A tiny bit.
And we might check a hand like king, queen of clubs if we got here this way.
We might.
But that actually might be lower in our distribution because of the club blocking that we don't want to be doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
We unblock clubs. We have no clubs in our hand with these two queens. That's good. We want that.
Right.
And we think it's against what Jeremy is against what Luda is repping. It's basically the same thing. So we care more about the blockers than the hand rank.
Also, if we have a hand, any king, like king, queen of clubs, while we block this, we can get value from a hand exactly like queens.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty good. Like, when we have queens, we can't.
Right.
So that's yet another reason to check here where we might bet a king, queen.
Right. So that just puts it very near the top of our distribution, which, is another argument for calling. So the arguments for calling are it's Luda, the story is bad, and we have near the top, if not the top of our distribution.
We might even just throw distribution out the window and close our eyes and call a lot anyway, because it's Luda and the story is absurd. I don't know how much we even need distribution, but we should start there and then see where we want to deviate from it. We don't have to deviate because I think queens is a call anyway, but like, oh my God, like probably a lot more of our distribution is a call too.
I agree, and Jeremy does it right. Good for him.
Yeah.
Wesley Cannon had to get Luda Chris himself with Pio to figure this one out. Because
it's confusing the way you say that. It sounds like he got the guy, Luda Chris, to help him with Pio.
No, I meant it in like a more like he had to go nuts with the solver in order to figure this one out.
Why not just say that then, Grant?
Because I like to be mercurial.
Is that what mercurial means?
I am mercurial. Anyway, most relevant points that came up in Wesley's analysis. Let's start with the flop.
Okay.
It actually wants Luda to just kind of give up on the flop and check the 6 deuce suited if it doesn't have a backdoor with it. But Luda does have a backdoor with the hearts. Of course, all 6 deuces have the backdoor straight draws, but it needs both backdoors or the front door club draw in order to continue.
That makes sense.
So the solver is fine with this bet. Our biggest point, I think, was that we wanted Luda Chris to bet the turn. We felt like it was kind of a weird way to play the hand and not bet the turn, and the solver agreed.
Hey, what do you know? We're all on the same page. Us and the robots forever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea to get on the side of the robots right about now. This would be a good time to do it.
We're doing it publicly, so whenever they scan all the archives of all human, media, they'll know we're with you guys.
Yep. Remember this, please, overlords.
We will do whatever we have to do, kill whatever humans you need us to kill.
Well, the solver doesn't want to kill Luda Chris yet.
Not yet.
So far, it's okay with his flop, but not his turn. And maybe it wants him to kill him a little bit because of the turn.
Well, maybe.
I mean, it's obvious why you want to bluff here.
Yeah, of course it is. Come on. Perfect card.
All right, on the river.
Good card.
We thought that Luda Chris did something good here when he sized it this way, because when you check the turn, it feels like you're giving up. And giving up maybe is the best option in our mind. Check back, just give up entirely. But if you're going to take a shot, we like the big shot. We think, hey, you have an actual shot. You have a chance to represent a set of nines, get Jeremy to fold whatever marginal hand he's got. Otherwise, how are you going to fold out this guy's range when he check called the flop?
Right.
And you can't rep anything. Well, the solver disagrees. What the hell, man?
Well, I can at least understand a little bit. Once you told me, just before we did this, the solver disagreed. I was like, oh, I can sort of see it a little bit, which would be...
It wants to bet smaller, to be clear. Right. It wants to bet 6K instead of 15K.
If you bet 6K, you can rep a different kind of a range, right? You can rep potentially ace, jack, and queens maybe when it goes check, check on the turn.
Yeah.
Well, you cannot ever rep that. Now you're only repping the true monsters.
I suppose maybe that's a piece of it. Still...
Yeah,
I do like the 15K. The solver thinks that the 10-8 is his only value at 15K. I don't know why it can't be a set of nines.
It seems like it would have to be a set of nines. Come on, solver.
Yeah. How about 6 deuce though? Is he supposed to bluff? The answer is yes. The solver does want him to bluff with the 6 deuce.
That's cool.
Yep. And this is also very surprising from the solver. This is maybe the most surprising thing from the solver, is that queens should almost always be folded by Jeremy.
But the solver is the biggest station of them all.
I don't understand how you could ever fold queens in this spot.
The solver, to be clear, Wesley mentioned this, that it thinks that if Jeremy has ace king, that's a value bet on the river.
Yeah.
That's the bottom of his value betting range. So The only hand that's better than queens is if Jeremy can have king-queen. It would be king-queen suited, and it would probably have to be king-queen of clubs for him to continue on the flop.
Maybe hearts.
Okay, maybe hearts too. So there's tops 2 combos.
Yeah.
Queens is the next best thing. Why?
I don't know.
Why?
It probably has to do with the solver's analysis of Luda's range, which is like 10-8 is his only value, so he doesn't have that many bluffs here, and ultimately it works out from a balance perspective to fold queens against that range.
I mean, I suppose so, but since we think pocket 9s is there,
yeah.
let alone... I mean, pocket 9s is there doesn't really help our argument,
but
I guess, right?
6 deuce being there helps, which...
Yeah. It sure does. It means God only knows what else is in this frickin' range.
Whatever. I like to call the solver. You know
have
what?
to-
The robots can.
What?
I love the robots. I love the robots.
You were this close to really changing our future.
I
In a bad.
the
bad
robots
way.
are my favorite.
Yeah. So, we agree with the solver. We disagree with the solver. We agree with Luda Chris. We disagree with Luda Chris. Well, we don't really ever agree with Luda Chris. We agree with Jeremy. We disagree with Jeremy. Lots of agreements and disagreements. What do you guys think? How do you guys think this hand was played ultimately by these 2 players? The biggest things for us that really stood out were Luda's decision to check the turn, that king turn. We don't like it. The solver doesn't like it. What do you think? And ultimately, we thought Jeremy has a pretty straightforward call with queens there. Solver disagrees pretty strongly. What do you think about that? Let us know in the comments.
Do that. And if you want to agree and disagree, do it on Discord too. We have a link in the description to our Discord server. It's fun. It's a bag of fun. We'll see you there.